All right, let's get right into it. Welcome, everyone. For those of you who are part of the challenge, this is day 2 of our 37th season. Now, just a quick technical note, we've been hitting a few snags with Facebook's latest updates and some browser stuff, but we are pushing hard to get our multicast streaming to both YouTube and Facebook working perfectly. But tech issues aside, today we are going to pull back the curtain on a concept that is absolutely fundamental to succeeding online. Seriously, think of this as a foundational lesson, the kind that separates the businesses that thrive from those that just don't.
So, let's start with this question, because it's one I know a lot of you have asked. Why do so many online businesses seem to be permanently, sick? You see people grinding, buying every new course, following all the gurus, but they never really get healthy, do they? They're just stuck on a hamster wheel of temporary fixes. But what if I told you that this chronic sickness is actually by design, and that it's incredibly profitable for somebody else?
You see, what's so fascinating and a little scary is how much the online marketing world has started to look like the healthcare industry. Think about it. In healthcare, it's often way more profitable to manage a long-term illness with continuous treatments than it is to offer a one-time cure. Well, that exact same business model has found its way online. A customer who stays sick is a customer who keeps on paying month after month.
And this right here, this is what we call the treatment trap. It's a model that is built to keep you hooked. You're sold these ongoing subscriptions, these placebos, these tools that only ever put a Band-Aid on a symptom. They might give you a little traffic boost, for example, but they never actually teach you the real skill of generating traffic yourself. And what that does is it creates dependency. It makes you feel like you can't survive without their next pill, their next monthly payment.
And this is the psychological genius of the trap. It's a powerful placebo effect. People put so much faith and trust into the prescription from the guru that they convince themselves it has to be working, even when there are no real results to back it up. You believe you're on the right path, so you just keep taking the medicine, sometimes for years on end, without ever actually getting better.
So what is the alternative? Well, it's not just a better treatment. It is a completely different approach. It's a foundational cure. This is a model that isn't built on keeping you dependent, but on making you empowered. It's about shifting your entire perspective away from chasing temporary relief and toward building a permanent, lifetime solution for your business.
The cure model is the complete opposite of the trap. Its goal is not to have you as a patient for life. No way. The goal is to give you the foundational skills, the systems, the actual building blocks of a real business so that you become 100% self-sufficient. It attacks the root of the problem so you can create lasting, permanent business health.
And here it is, side by side. This is where it all becomes crystal clear. The treatment model's goal is dependency. Its focus is on symptoms. Its method is never-ending subscriptions. And the result? Just temporary relief. The cure model. Its goal is your independence. Its focus is the root cause. Its method is teaching you real skills. And the result? Lifetime business health. The choice, when you see it like this, is pretty obvious, isn't it?
But here is the most important part of this whole thing. Receiving the cure is not a passive activity. A doctor can give you the best medicine in the world, but if you go home and eat junk food and sit on the couch all day, you're not going to get healthy. It's the same thing here. You can't build a healthy business without self-accountability. And it all starts with what you are feeding your mind every single day.
And to change that mental diet, first you've got to be able to identify the poison. We call these mental toxins. They are the limiting beliefs, the bad habits, and the terrible advice that have been slowly poisoning your mindset and killing your growth, maybe for years without even realizing it.
And these toxins, they often sound like harmless old sayings, right? Like money doesn't grow on trees. Or they look like being stubbornly loyal to a system that just isn't getting you results. Or maybe it's just being so stuck in your ways that you refuse to even consider that there might be a new, smarter, better way of doing things. You have to consciously find these thoughts and cut them out of your mental diet.
Okay, so if we're going to cut out all those toxins, what do we replace them with? Well, you need a proper prescription, a clear, actionable plan for success. And I'm not talking about another magic pill. I'm talking about a very specific kind of document, one that's designed to be your roadmap to building real business health.
A document like this one is a core component of the cure itself. It's not just some abstract theory, it is a literal blueprint. It lays out the structure, the system, everything you need to finally make that shift from being a permanent patient to becoming the master of your own successful business.
And the instructions for how to apply this cure are actually really simple. Think of it like a daily therapy or exercise plan.
So in a system like ours, for example, step 1 is you get the prescription, that document. Step 2, you start your daily exercise, something like our 10-minute-a-day challenge to build that muscle of consistency. And step 3, you consistently apply what you're learning to strengthen your mindset, which is, without a doubt, your single most valuable asset.
And of course, for anyone who wants to just put the pedal to the metal and accelerate their progress, advanced learning is absolutely key. This is where things like live training sessions come in. They give you a chance to go deeper, to really intensify your understanding of the cure and how to apply it even faster.
But okay, let's be real. Does this principled approach, does this cure actually work in the real world? The proof is always in the pudding, right? We'll take a look. Systems that are built on this cure model can produce some pretty incredible results. In just one of these systems, our members earned 159 commissions in the last 24 hours alone. That's not theory, that's real-world proof of business health.
You know, this entire approach leads to a totally different kind of life. The goal isn't just to make 6 figures, it's to do it without grinding yourself into dust for 12 hours a day. It's about working smarter by building a healthy, sustainable system, and then leveraging all the amazing tools we have today, from custom AI for making content to automated tools for finding viral traffic, so the system does the heavy lifting for you.
So, it all comes back to this one simple, powerful question. Now that you've seen the 2 paths laid out in front of you, the endless, expensive cycle of treatments versus a foundational, permanent cure, the only thing left to do is decide. Which path are you going to choose? Are you ready to stop being a patient and finally, once and for all, achieve lasting business health?
Yeah, hustle bear in the building. Adrenaline truth, this that run up the hill grind. Pressure make diamonds, I've been cutting through the steel line. Dreams don't chase you, better get it while the will grind. Legacy's a blueprint I've been building on the real time. If fear's in the room, I'm the one to make it go quick. Faith in my chest, watch me load it like a full clip. Haters catch the wave or get washed in emotion. Action over doubt, that's the hustle bear doctrine. I've been running through the noise with a fire in my lungs. Every setback was a lesson, now I'm speaking in tongues. From the bottom to the summit, all I needed was a spark. Now my pain got a purpose, see the light in the dark. Ay, motion over madness, that's the code that I keep. Every dream need a soldier, I ain't losing no sleep. Put the doubts in the dirt, plant the faith like a seed. If you want it, go and get it, that's the hustler's creed. I woke up with a mission like the rent due on my oxygen. Purpose in my pocket, every loss became a document. I'm calibrated differently, my hustle got a doctorate. Turn my fears to employees, got them working on my confidence. Life hit me with storms, but I learned how to monetize the rain. Pain became a passport, now I travel through the strain. People love excuses, cause excuses never change. But action pay the bills, that's the truth inside the game. Had to cut some ties, their weight don't climb. If your circle ain't moving, then you running out of time. I ain't waiting on a sign, I was born to be a beacon. Hunger ain't a mindset, it's a language I speak in. Every day is overtime, I ain't got no halftime. Walking with a lion heart, built it from the bad times. Legacy's a contract, God signed the bottom. Now I hustle like the devil, never wanted me to blossom. I done fought my own shadows, had to box with my doubts. Took the quiet route to freedom, now my voice too loud. You can measure a man's truth by the storms he survives. I took every closed door as a gem for my mind. Pressure got a flavor, I've been learning how to taste it. Fear is just a wire that your courage gotta break with. This grind ain't pretty, it's sweat, grit, pavement. But comfort is a prison and dreams don't do arrangements. I came from the trenches of excuses and delay. Now discipline the engine, keep me pushing through the day. I ain't working for the moment, I'm investing in a name. When your legacy the mission, every step becomes a flame. People talk potential like it's somehow gonna save them, but potential's just a debt, action's how you gotta pay it. Success ain't in the future, it's a choice in the now. And if you waiting on approval, you ain't ready for the crown. I've been running through the pain like a treadmill on fire. See the ashes of my doubts, that's the proof I'm getting higher. Every no became a hammer, built a kingdom out of trials. Faith drove the steering wheel while hustle held the tires. Ain't no elevator up, just the stairs of intention. Gotta climb with conviction, every step is a lesson. The grind is a mirror, what you see is a reflection. If you lazy with your actions, you gon' struggle with direction. Had nights where I cried, but the tears paid dues. Had fights with my pride, but the growth came through. Every scar got a purpose, every bruise got a clue. If you scared of the fall, you ain't ready for the view. I'm a soldier for the dream, that's the oath that I keep. Motivation ain't a moment, it's a promise you repeat. If you walking with excuses, you ain't walking with me. And if you want another level, you should hustle like a beast. I've been running through the noise with a fire in my lungs. Every setback was a lesson, now I'm speaking in tongues. From the bottom to the summit, all I needed was a spark. Now my pain got a purpose, see the light in the dark. Hey, motion over madness, that's the code that I keep. Every dream need a soldier, I ain't losing no sleep. Put the doubts in the dirt, plant the faith like a seed. If you want it, go and get it, that's the hustler's creed.
If I have to lie to you to get you started, then that means that I'm gonna have to keep lying to you in order to keep you going. Let me ask you this question. Have you guys ever had one of those friends that asks you something that should be simple? Like, hey, come with me to the store. It's just up the street. It's just on the corner. You start walking. You reach the corner and there's no store. Next thing you know, they're saying, yeah, it's just up the street. Just a little bit further up the street. You go up the street and then you notice there's still no store. And then they're like, well, it's just around the corner. Yeah, just a couple more blocks around the corner. And then you start thinking to yourself, where's this person taking me? Where are they leading me? It was supposed to be a simple walk up the street to the corner, to the store. But now they got me going all out of the way. Left turns, right turns. Why couldn't they just be upfront and honest with me right from the start? Now that's how your online affiliate marketing, digital marketing, or make money from home journey usually starts. I see a lot of people putting out content and information that's kind of misleading. I don't want to say that they're lying, but it is what it is. Just be honest with me right up front. If it's going to take me all the way up the street, around the corner, 2 blocks up, left turn, right turn, tell me that from the get-go so that I'll be able to make an informed decision as to whether or not I want to go with you. Have you experienced this? Comment below.
I give you food for action, don't choke on the truth. This lesson I prepared was made just for you. Feast up, I'll keep serving till the pot run dry. Got enough cooking to feed the whole country, no lie. Too many flavors, I got what you like. Don't start beefing with me, you won't win this fight. If you come in peace, keep your teeth intact. I got a plan to get this cake, come grab a stack. Life could be sweet, if you listen, you'll see. Food for action on a platter, served fresh by me. I'm serving knowledge on plates, got the recipe down. A blend of hustle and wisdom, that's my sound. I'm feeding the masses, no crumbs, full course. But if you bring nothing to the table, find the door. Stop acting like you got beef, it won't taste right. This flavor's reserved for those ready.
Okay, family, we are live. We are live, and we are live in multiple places. So today, I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. Today is strong 37, day 3, and we are right at 15 minutes into today's challenge. So let's start to peel the curtain back, and let's get to today's challenge. Now, today, we know what today is. Today is Wednesday. But as usual, Wednesday is a special day. It's what we like to call Decision Day Wednesday. And as we look at the most valuable document in all of online marketing, something that was kind of referenced to in that beginning training by one of my favorite business partners, the AI, I think about all of the things that we could do and all of the things that we have the ability to do. Now, it's not unlimited time available to anybody. So everybody has the same 24 hours in a day. It's all about how you decide to use it. Now, I understand that a lot of people, you have various obligations. Now, within those obligations, you have to do what you have to do. But then once when that's over, you have to find a way to do what it is that you want to do in order to accomplish the things that you want to accomplish. So I spend a lot of time creating, designing products and services that's geared towards helping my community grow, helping them become the best versions of themselves so that they can build their online business. And just like referenced in that last video, I talked about, the concept of, you know, you have to be prepared in a way for your journey. It was a preparation video. It was designed to let you guys know that, you know, sometimes the journey isn't going to be a straight path. It's not going to be something that's just cut and dry. It's not going to be something that all the gurus try to tell you about. Hey, a simple 3-step formula where, hey, if you do these 3 things, you're going to be successful. Usually, those 3 things are like a document. It's like a document, kind of like this document, but a little bit different. But those 3 steps are usually like that contractual document where, yes, there might be 3 parts, but there's always part one, and then there's section one of part one, and then there's subsection of that part one. There's part A, B, C, D, and then there's those Roman numeral parts, that breaks down the document even more. So it's never a clear cut path to success. And that's okay. It's okay because we understand that things that are worth having and things that are worth doing are not always easy. If everything was easy and everybody would be able to have success, right? But the great thing about success is that it's always looking for the proper home. The success is like, a person in a relationship. I spoke about this before. It's kind of like you finding that perfect mate. Before you find that person, I know you're probably looking. You're looking to see what you like. But perfect mate is also looking for the person that's looking at them, and they're looking for the right person themselves. So they're looking at the way you approach things. They're looking at the conversation you have. They're looking at the way you dress. When you approach them, they're examining how do you smell. It makes me think about a post that I see constantly on Facebook. There's a guy who does skits, pranks, or whatever you want to call them, where he approaches people, usually in a supermarket, and he'll go up to a lady and he'll just randomly grab her hand, or he'll randomly help her get something off the shelf that she's reaching for. Now, we know, well, I believe that the majority of these are skits, that they're already pre-rehearsed. But in a lot of them, the first thing that comes to the lady's mind is she'll say, what's that smell? You smell good. But of course, we know that it's just a marketing skit in design, because the whole point of this interaction is to get people interested in what the real product is. Every time the lady says, "Hey, what's that smell? You smell good." He tells them, "Hey, it's just a little something that I have, a little cologne that I own." So it's his personal brand of cologne. And it turns the skit into basically a marketing piece where, it gets people excited. The viewers are watching and they start to think to themselves, "Hey, if I have this cologne on, maybe I'll be able to attract more women. If I buy this cologne, maybe if I go into the supermarket and I just walk down a few aisles, if I see somebody that I like, if I just brush past them, they might stop me and say, 'Hey, what's that cologne you have on?'" And that'll be an entryway into building that relationship. But that's how your online business is. There's multiple layers to things. That's how success is. It's always looking and examining every aspect of you. What are you willing to go through in order to get that, level of success or to actually get that relationship. A lot of times, fellas, if you're watching, you can possibly relate. You meet a lady, and the first thing that she wants to do is put you through some tests, some verbal jujitsu, so to speak, where she's asking you questions about various things. Before you even ask the question of, hey, can I get your phone number? What's your name? Can I take you out? You have to go through some hurdles. They put you through those steps that everybody must pass. There's no difference with your online business. So you have to understand that even though you might have a program that says it's 3 simple steps, there's always going to be additional work. But just like mentioned in that video, it's okay if it's more than 3 steps. Just be honest with me up front. Don't lead me to believe that it's as simple as just 1, 2, 3, press a button, and then money starts to flow. It's not. So today on Decision Day Wednesday, I want to give you guys something to think about. I want you to think about your online journey. I want you to think about how hard it's actually been. And ask yourself this question. Is it a hard journey because you were misled in the beginning? Were you told that it was going to be simple and easy, and you actually believed that it was going to be simple and easy? Or did you actually get the truth? Did someone tell you that, hey, this business is pretty challenging. It's a hard task. And on a daily basis, you're going to have to do specific things. You're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have to show up, kind of like how we show up with this challenge. 37 weeks consistent, over 175 lives done, 9 a.m. Eastern, EST time, Monday through Friday. And now, you know, I wanted to take it a step farther. Today, I'm actually doing a multi stream. I'm streaming on Facebook in my private group, and I'm streaming on my YouTube channel. So, for the people watching on YouTube, this might be a first time introduction. This might be day one for you, even though it's been 37 strong weeks that I've been doing this. So, in actuality, it's a beginning when it comes to that. So, we have to build up that consistency when it comes to being live on YouTube also. And going forward, I also want to, start going live on other platforms. One in particular is Twitch. So Twitch is a great platform that's designed to really, speak to your community, being able to have the long form content, have long discussions about whatever it is that you want to talk about. Twitch is often known for its gaming community, but we might not be playing games on there. Well, the traditional type of games like, Grand Theft Auto and other things like that. But I'm preparing for that situation. And just like anything else, I'm always building. So, will we have games to possibly play? We might have games to possibly play. So, everything's a work in progress. Everything's designed perfectly in order to get the best results. Now, today I decided on purpose to wear red because red usually signifies stop, kind of like a stop sign. Now, stopping, a lot of people, they don't like to stop, they like to keep going. Some people like to run through stop signs. But if you run through a stop sign, what can happen is if you're in the intersection, you can get hit. And that could be a bad situation for you. So we want to avoid all of those bad situations, all of the pitfalls. I want you to stop on today, Decision Day Wednesday, and I want you to really reflect and start to take into inventory, mental inventory. What is it that you want to accomplish? And are you willing to make the decision to pursue those goals. Even if it's a 10-step formula and each one of those steps has 10 individual subsections, I want you to commit to, you know, taking action. Deciding that, you're not going to look at it as a challenge, or you're not going to look at it as, an obstacle that you cannot beat. I want you to look at it as something that excites you, something that allows you to do something that 99% of the world will never do. And that is pursue success. Most people will live comfortably doing whatever it is that they do on a daily basis, living the type of lives that, they wouldn't want other people to live, but they've gotten comfortable in what they do on a day-to-day basis. So they feel as though this is the only thing that they can possibly do. But I want you to be that special individual that decides that, you're going to be above average. You're going to do the things that other people won't do. So that, as my boy Travis said the other day in one of his lives, and something that, we both heard from some of the great motivational speakers and great entrepreneurs, you know, you have to do the things today to have the things tomorrow that other people will not have because they refuse to start today. And as I mentioned in one of my previous lives or multiple lives, there is no such thing as a tomorrow. You only have today. If tomorrow comes, it's still the present. So you can't rush time, but you have to take advantage of all of the time that you have. And today I want you guys to take advantage of every tool, every opportunity that we have. Now, for one, and I want to talk specifically to the YouTube watchers, people that might have been here for the first time. I want to just point out once again behind me what I call the most valuable document in all of online marketing. Now, it doesn't have any magical powers. It doesn't jump out on the screen. It doesn't do anything special unless it's in the hands of the right person, a person that's going to take advantage of it and use it to create something that might change their lives forever for the better. So, this document, I always like to start off at the top. And as you can see right here, it has the value of $2,997. In the beginning of this challenge, the value was only at $997. But it took a while for, the value to increase. We didn't change anything specifically in the document itself, but we got a better understanding, rather, of what the document actually represented. Throughout these past 37 weeks, we've saw life examples, we've saw examples in the news, new products, new services that has come up, new ways of looking at things that has always allowed us to reflect back on this document to see that, hey, this document has those elements that are just coming into our view. This document represents ideas, things that have been seen before, and some things that is yet to be seen. But for the right person who uses this, you might be the one to create the next great thing based off of the principles, the blueprint in this document. Now, what I consider to be the second line in this document, it says simply, grab your mega link. Now, if you're not familiar with the mega link, it's the gateway or the doorway to obtaining your foundational skills, those universal skills that every online marketer needs in order to learn how to promote any product or service, whether it's online or offline. And once again, it's all about mindset. It's all about training and understanding how marketing works. It provides you with all of the necessary tools in which you need to build your business. Website creators, email autoresponder, content creation tools that will allow you to create content. So these are the foundational tools and the foundational skills that you need in order to build your business. 90+% of your time is going to be spent creating content, posting, checking, and seeing what happens, seeing the responses to your content, following up and repeating the cycle. Now, that might sound like a simple 3 or 4 step process, but we know that there's subsections to that. Once when you create a piece of content, you have to see how that piece of content works. You have to see how people respond to it. If they don't respond to it, then you have to do things like split testing. You have to revise that piece of content, just tweak it a little bit just to see maybe if it was the wrong color, maybe it was the wrong font, maybe it was that the picture itself didn't work, but you might have needed to do a video instead. Or everything about the visual aspect was good, but the description section was something that you had to tweak. There's all of these subsections that you're going to have to deal with when it comes to building your online business. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing because it actually gives you something to work towards. Is that it actually gives you and makes you a person that's valuable. Because if you can master and be able to learn how to do all these things, that will make you very valuable to what we call the marketplace. 99% of people will not do what's necessary in order to build a profitable online business. They'll create a post, they'll share the post, they won't get any responses, no likes, no comments, and then they'll feel like, hey, this business does not work. Well, that's a good thing. Let those people be the ones that try only once, fail, and then decide that, hey, they want to quit. Because the thing about them is, even after they quit, they're still going to have the same problems and issues that they had before they started their journey. And if you are the type of person that's willing to work through those challenges and say, hey, it didn't work this first time doing it this way, I'm going to tweak it and I'm going to do it another way. I'm going to continuously do it and modify how it's being done until it actually works. Now, once when you find out and crack the code, which this document right here is part of your blueprint to cracking the code. This second line in the document is a big part of you cracking the code. This is one of your tool sets. This is one of your major tools, your major keys to success. Once when you learn how to actually use it, then you'll become more powerful than 99% of people online because you'll have something that they won't. You'll be able to have the skills, the knowledge, and hopefully you'll end up developing the right mindset that'll allow you to stay consistent and push through all of the challenges. So that when it comes to a point where, hey, you crack the code, that means that you've learned the secret to success. And then you can turn around and say to that person that only tried once or twice and given up, you can say, hey, I figured it out. I've learned exactly what it takes to actually get this done. And maybe you're not ready at this point to fully go 100% into this field, but I can actually help you. If you want to partner with me, if you want to, come along with me on this journey that I'm never going to stop, something that I'm going to continue to do until the day I die. If you're willing to, partner with me, then I'm willing to help you, guide you, and provide you with the necessary tools in order for you to become successful also. Now, that puts you in a position of power. That puts you in a position of authority. And that puts you in a position of being worthy of being compensated for your particular skill sets. A lot of times online, we get stuck in the idea of what the product is or what the service is. and we think that we have a product that everybody would want. Kind of like back in the day when I started in this industry over 15 years ago. There were so many different products in the market that people figured, hey, the product would sell itself. One in particular was coffee, a coffee and tea company. Now, the way it was sold was everybody drinks coffee or tea. So this is a no-brainer. If you ever heard somebody say that term, a no-brainer, that right there is a red flag. It should be a red flag to you because there's no such thing as a no-brainer. That means, hey, you don't even have to think about it. But we know for a fact, if you've been in this industry for any amount of time, you know that it takes brains, particularly mindset. It doesn't take intelligence. It doesn't take for you to be a genius, but it takes for you to have a certain mindset. And it took me a while to understand that when someone told me that it's a no brainer, to be a little cautious because it takes, once again, a certain type of individual who can see things, see them beyond what's being presented, and reformulate their thoughts, reposition themselves, and then apply what they've learned in the proper way. So it's going to take all of these things. And I used to say a long time ago that one of my biggest skills, one of my biggest things that I had was I had the ability to turn people off from an idea. And that's because I'm too willing to be honest about things. I don't like to lead people and give them illusions or false ideas of how easy something is going to be. I want you to know right off top it's going to be a challenge. And if you work with me, you're going to have to put in some work. You're going to have to be willing to learn about some few simple concepts, but it's usually the simple things that are the hardest to implement, right? But I want you to understand that once when you actually decide, and today, Decision Day Wednesday is one of the perfect days to make that decision. Once when you actually decide that you're going to go on that journey, that should give you a level of confidence also. Kind of like somebody going out and they're into sports. And you go out, you try out for the team, and you know all of your friends and other people, they like, man, well, hey, I wouldn't even attempt to do that. I know I'm not good enough. Yeah. You might not be good enough now, but the whole thing about it is you work towards becoming better. And nobody gets directly into the NBA just because they decided to try, or in the NFL, or in any major sports league, just because they were willing to try. Now, it comes with the willingness to try and the willingness to grow and become better and push yourself farther than you might have ever imagined pushing yourself before. So, this document right here, it represents a format, it represents a strategy, it represents something that's actually fun also, because that's another piece of the puzzle that's missing in online marketing. I find that there's so many opportunities out there, but the majority of them are so cookie cutter. They're so boring and mundane. You end up talking about the same thing over and over and over, but you never really get to the work. You end up just getting full of inspiration and motivation, and then it's like that shot of Red Bull. You take that energy drink and you feel like you got wings, but then you don't know how to use your wings at the end of it. You don't know how to, fly. You think you can, but then, you're all hyped up with nowhere to go. You're standing on the edge of a mountain or a cliff, and you're like, man, I believe I could fly, but you don't actually have the skill set, the tools in order to actually fly. So this document, part of the Hustler's 10 Minute a Day Challenge, is very valuable because it gives you a format and it gives you some very powerful tools that you can use. For one, If you scroll down, you'll see that you get access to my personal GPT. And that GPT is programmed to help you succeed with this challenge. And then below that, there's this document here. It says access the affiliate marketing commentator. Now, it's not a special AI tool. It's not anything that's crazy. It doesn't jump out off the page, but it's very powerful. One of the biggest challenges that online marketers have is that they don't know what to say to that ideal client. They don't know what to say to that person that they're prospecting. They don't know how to present themselves. So they'll stop before they even make the attempt. They'll have a great product like a coffee or tea, and they'll think, hey, if I just show a picture of this product, people are going to say, yes, I want it without them having to do any type of work. But it doesn't work like that. Even the greatest product still has to be sold. The only product that doesn't have to be sold that everybody needs is air. You're going to breathe that. Your nose, your lungs, your body, it doesn't have to be sold on that. You can try to hold your breath and say, hey, I'm not going to take in this air. But it's going to come to a certain point where your body says, no, we have to breathe. So just about everything else, you're going to have to promote and put some work forth. But this particular line right here, it gives you some responses. It gives you about 500 or so responses. If you're not the type of person that's, you know, have thought about this beforehand, it'll give you some inspiration. Now you can use those responses just as they are, or you can go back to the GPT, plug those responses in, and say, hey, create me some variations of these particular responses so that you have something original of your own, right? But we have a tool that'll help us write our content. We have a starting point so that we know, hey, where to start from when it comes to our responses. But what are we actually going to be sharing? What is this challenge itself? Well, this challenge is based off of music. And one of the most powerful things in the world is music. I think music is similar to coffee and tea. Just about everybody loves it. Might be different genres, just kind of like, hey, different kind of coffees and teas. You have black tea, you got herbal tea, you got red tea, you have green tea. So it doesn't really matter what form you have, but there's a market for each one of those. And you might even, going back to the word split test that I used earlier, it might be a different market, so to speak, for the person that likes black tea as compared to the person that likes green tea. A green tea lover might be more interested in more natural types of herbs and teas as compared to a person that just drinks regular black tea. They might be the type of person that, hey, they just want some tea. So they'll drink any type of tea. But when you get into specialty teas like a red tea, which before I got involved in that particular company years ago, I didn't even know there was a such thing as red tea. But once when I tasted it, I said, hey, this is a little bit different. This is something that, I can drink. And of course it had its own benefits, its own things about it that would attract someone. So when it comes to your marketing and advertising, you would speak to those particular things that would attract a red tea drinker, just like when it comes to music. Now, as I scroll through this document, I'm giving you guys an overview. It's showing you different things, different aspects of building an online business. So this right here, it says real. So on a daily basis, you scroll social media, you see content. One form of content that's very popular is reels. People are creating reels to promote their products and services. These tend to go more viral than just text-based uh, content. So I've given you guys some templates here that you can once again plug into the GPT and say, hey, rewrite this particular reel so that I can use in my specialized content for my music, because that's part of the challenge, right? Or for my coffee, or for my tea, or whatever particular product or service that you are promoting. Now, if you haven't noticed, or if you haven't, if it hasn't clicked to you yet, even though this document, this blueprint is geared towards one particular thing, music, it's not just geared towards that. It's an overall blueprint. It's a foundational principle. It's a foundational tool that you can use to promote any and everything. So for the right person, they'll look at this and they'll say, hey, this would work great for my for my uh t-shirt line, for my hat line, for my cologne, for my makeup, for my jewelry, for my whatever it is. Because for all of those products and services, you're going to need to create content, and you're going to need to be able to respond to the people that engage with your content. And one of the main things that this document gives you, as we scroll through, it gives you a different language, so to speak, that you can speak to your particular audience in. So one of the languages, or a few of the most popular languages or ways that you can communicate with your ideal client, is through written form. The text. You can do a text post, or you can do a picture post, or you can do a video post. But now, with the way technology is, and it's not really being used this way, but here at what we call the Hustler's Secret Success System, which is part of the Hustleverse, we like to do things a little bit differently. We like to be creative. We like to look at things, see what they are, but then see what they can actually become. So with this particular system, we have a new language. We have a new love language, so to speak, right? How we can speak to our audience. We can speak to them using music. And that's very powerful. So instead of, like back in the day, or even currently, we talk about how music only talks about specific things. If you're in the hip hop community, sex, money, and drugs. If you're into country music, it's, hey, divorces, wife, cats, dogs, trucks, whatever it is, right? It's the traditional things that different genres are known for. But now, with technology, you're able to create your own music, things that are designed to speak the way you want to be spoke to, and you can actually create music yourself to speak to whoever you want about whatever you want. So imagine having your own line of music that talks about that particular green tea, and you have a song dedicated to green tea, or you have a song dedicated to a t-shirt line, or a song dedicated to whatever it is that you're promoting. And not even just one song, but you might have that one song as a what we call a lead magnet to get people really interested in that product or service. And then the main form, one of the additional bonuses will be the album, the coffee album, the tea album, the you know clothing line album that goes along with the clothing. Those additional bonuses. Now, as you go throughout this industry, there will be some things that you notice. Everybody has a bonus. Everybody has something special that they give away with the main product. And that's 99% of the time, that's the way that the high income earners, or the gurus, as we call them, that's how they become so successful. It's called the value proposition. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into a lot of these things. I want to just keep this kind of surface level for today. But I want you to make a decision. I want you to make a decision that you want to actually start to learn about these various things. A lot of these things I can teach you about. And a lot of these things, I have specific business partners that are specifically trained in different areas that will help you get a better understanding of each one of these, different elements, these different steps that have subsections that will give you access to the key to success. But in this particular document, this right here, in this line right here that says access Suno for free, this is one of the main tools that I use on a daily basis. And this is one of those foundational tools that will allow you to be able to create your own love language, your own language of communication to speak to your audience. And it's still fairly new. When we think about technology, this particular product or service has only been around for a couple of years, and a lot of people do not know about it yet. And it's funny, I was watching TV last couple of days, and I started to see some advertisements for Suno on some of the streaming platforms. So they're starting to, spread the word. It's starting to become something that more people are knowing about. Not just on social media, you see a post or advertisement on there, but when you're actually watching a TV show or a movie on one of the streaming services and it goes to a commercial and it's a Suno commercial, then you know that they're starting to reach the mainstream and they're going to start to be exposed to more people and get the word out. But as of right now, it's still the beginning stages. And you have the ability to use this to your benefit now before it starts to flood the mainstream world. And you could be the person that introduces people to this before, all of those ads get put in front of those people, right? So that's one of the benefits that you have being part of this particular challenge. Once when you start to perfect how to create your own music, that'll make you more of an expert for those people that, decide, hey, I just want to put in a single line prompt into this tool and let it create music for me. That's cool. They might come out with something pretty good, but once when you really learn how to craft a song, which basically this document also give you some templates as to the various forms of music, the various styles. So you have hip hop, soul, R&B, acoustic indie, EDM. So these various forms of music, you can use this template to create whatever type of music you want. And then you can plug in your particular product or service or whatever it is that you're trying to market to your audience. So I look at the time, it's 9:55 a.m. EST time. And I want to close out with this. Just to help you guys make a better decision, make a more informed decision. There's a few things that I have access to that I want to be able to give you. So, for one, I want to be able to give you access to what we call our Reels pack. So, it's a Reels pack, right? And I'm just going to click on it right here. because this one right here gives you access to 500 reels. Now, these are things that have gone viral in the past, and you can download them and be able to get access to them and, repurpose them for your own content. But not only do I want to give you access to this, if you decide to take advantage of, that second line in the most valuable document in all of online marketing, you'll be able to get access to that. It'll be on your dashboard. But I also want to be able to give you access to a couple other bonuses. One bonus in particular is what I call my edutainment bundle. Now, it's something that I created myself. And for one, you'll get access to 2 exclusive albums. What I consider to be the album of the year for 2025, the Hustleberry, Hustle Tears, and Analytics album. If you're not familiar with that amazing AI artist, you will be by the end of this live. And then I want to give you access to the album of the year for 2026, which is the Welcome to the Hustleverse album, which you got a little taste of that in the beginning of the live. That music video that we played, Bulletproof Ambition, that's a track that's on that Welcome to the Hustleverse album. So you'll be able to get access to the album. And you'll also get access to some exclusive trainings that I created myself personally to help you on your online journey. So if you're interested in that, I want you to actually comment below this video. I want you to comment hustle, and I'll send you a message. I'll give you access to it. If you're watching on YouTube, then I'll put the link in the description of the video so that you'll be able to get access. And also to the people that's watching in the private group on Facebook, the link to this document here, the Hustler's 10-Minute a Day Challenge, should already be in the description of the video so that you can take part in the challenge, start creating your music, start doing what's necessary to build your business. And with that, I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live. The first one for YouTube, but strong 37, day 3 for the people in the private Facebook group. So with that, we're going to close out like we always do. We're going to close out with our anthem, our theme song for the Hustlers 10-Minute a Day Challenge. And I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Woke up to silence, dreams still heavy. Phone screen dry, but my vision stays steady. Mama said, baby, that job ain't your lane. But I clocked in anyway, chasing someone else's gain. That got me dancing with denial at night. Scrolling for hope, but it's hidden from sight. 10 minutes a day, sounded small at first. But in silence, even whispers can quench a thirst. Notebook in hand, wrote my future in ink. Mapped out my mission before I started to sink. Every post was a prayer, every share had weight. I wasn't selling a link, I was shifting fate. I found my rhythm in the quietest place, where hustle meant healing and grind meant grace. From the corner of doubt, I carved my space. Legacy ain't loud, but it wins the race. 10 minutes a day, brick by says she doing too much. To my PayPal ping, then they changed up the touch. No big brand, no six-figure crew, just a mic, some lyrics, and a dream that grew. Tired of waiting for the gatekeeper's call, so I built my own stage, held my own hall. Suno on deck, that's the beat in my chest. GPT spitting like I'm born to impress. Said I'd never make it, cool, noted. But now my bars turn pain into coated. From broken to branded, I ain't asked for fame, I asked for freedom and I claim my name now. Hustle berry on loop like healing chance for the girls who grew up with limited chance. This is more than a challenge, it's breaking the chain. Cause 10 minutes a day rewired my brain. 10 minutes a day, brick by brick, built from the bottom. Now the vision stick, no hype, no cap, just clarity. This ain't just income, it's legacy. Every click, every song I create etches my name where they can't erase. You can doubt, but you gon' see. 10 minutes a day turned into legacy. Now my daughter sees me different, eyes full of fire. She said, Ma, your words lift me higher. This ain't a hustle, this a heart-led path, where math meets message and message meets math. Community over clicks, value over hype. I ain't here to trend, I'm here to type blueprints for the ones still stuck in fear. Let them borrow my belief till their purpose clear. Haters still quiet, but I'm loud with grace. Posting in peace, not a mask on my face. Every bar I drop, every beat I